High Level is a full CRM and marketing platform, and I've used some of the best in the SaaS industry. I'm on mute. And we are live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch. We've got Instagram going tonight. Oh, and it looks like Daren, our guest, even added his X. We are in business going live across all the channels. Welcome to WinsDay Revenue Party, people. Hey, Erica, what's up? Everyone, plug in the chat where you're tuning in from tonight. She already knows the drill. Columbus, Ohio. Where's everyone else tuning in from? And keep us honest throughout the chat. Plug your comments, your questions, and anything you want to add to the conversation into the thread so that we can pull it up on the screen just like you saw us do right now. And we'll talk to you about that. But before we get started and before I introduce you to tonight's amazing guest, I want to tell you a little bit about Cherry Assistant because I couldn't do what I'm doing tonight without the help of Layla, who's here in the background. And she's a virtual assistant who I was placed with Cherry Assistant, who has all the skills that really help me grow my business. So, it wasn't, you think of a virtual assistant, many people think executive assistant. Well, no, that wasn't necessarily the skill set I was seeking. I needed someone who could produce a StreamYard live stream, who could work in Canva, who could coordinate with guests and come up with topics and all the really great things that we do for ourselves and for our clients. So Cherry Assistant has been awesome and connecting me with virtual assistants to help me not only with that, but video editing and so much more. Now, don't get me wrong. You can definitely find an excellent executive assistant there if that's what you're looking for, bookkeepers and more. If you're watching on video, just scan the QR code. Hey, Brian, what's up? If just scan that QR code and, you can check out their website, or if you're on podcast, just go to cherryassistant.com and let them know that you heard about them through WinsDay for a little bit of extra love. And then I also want to make sure I tell you about High Level. So a lot of people know the big CRMs out there. They're spending thousands of dollars a month. I know when I was a B2B CMO, I saw those price tags. And so when I started working for myself, I was blown away by High Level because it was only $97 a month and I got 3 accounts. And that's 3 CRM and marketing automation platforms. So I, at the time, only needed one for myself, but I learned how to use it. And now we white labeled it. So it's app.reviting.com. And anyone who works with us here at Reviting, we can give them a CRM and marketing automation platform, which as a marketing agency is helpful to be able to give you your ROI to show you proof. Here's your leads from your live stream. And so, yeah, we like to use High Level. If you're shopping around for a CRM, I suggest scanning that QR code and checking it out. It's, it's newer. It's, all built around AI. So it's highly nimble. They're making changes and updates all the time. But if you're listening on podcasts, you can try it out on my affiliate link. If you can't see the QR code to scan it, that's also my affiliate link. Just go to reviting.com/high level. But we have an excellent episode tonight, so we're going to be hopping right into it. But before we really get into the topics, let's meet our guests. Please welcome to the stage Daren Fields and Katie Nelson. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey,
Hey,
Hey
hey.
everyone.
happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy Wednesday. What's everyone drinking tonight?
Happy Wednesday. Well, it just hit 5:07 out here in Vegas, so we're just getting going. We're just getting rolling.
Just getting rolling. Well, let's get into it and get to know both of you. We can go look for you on YouTube, which, if anyone's here watching in the comments, which I see you, Nina, hey, Iowa in the house, tag our guests in the comments and go follow them on LinkedIn. Check out their LinkedIn, look at their resume and all the boring stuff, because that's not what we want to hear in the intro. We want to hear your full life story from birth to what brought you to now. Can you kick us off, Katie?
Sure. From birth to now, I have loved humans. That's it. I mean, really and truly, everything that I have accomplished in my life or have chosen to do in my life is because of my absolute curiosity of humankind, why we do the things we do. And that brought me to a career in sales and to the rest of the successes in my life thus far. My love for humans. I know it's not even 2 minutes. It's so boring.
Bam.
The love of humans, but where were you born and what makes
Oh,
you human?
well, I was born in DC, in the DC metro area. And then what makes me human? Spent my formative years in the desert in Tempe, Arizona, in a college town. You want to talk about humans? And then when I got married and booed up, we moved back to the DC metro area. I love the pace of business here. I love the differences in cultures from civilian work to government work. Like there's such a morass of human beings and what we do and how we do it. And I love all of it. We also happen to get 4 seasons here, which I really enjoy.
I love that so much. We've got someone from Guinea in the comments. Hello. And I thought Nevada in the comments, a couple other places. If you're just tuning in, let us know where you're tuning in from and tell us about you if you're in the comments. Tell us your full life story. Because we want to learn about who's watching so we can make sure we tailor this conversation for you who's here tuning in. But as our commenters are commenting, Daren, could you tell us your full life story from birth to what brought you to now?
From birth to now. Well, I'm born on the West Coast. I've been on the West Coast my whole life. So birth to now, it's pretty short. But I've been all over. When I was younger, started racing. So from the time I was about 14, I've been in motorsports. Even till now, most recently, even till one of the last drag races at Bandamere in Colorado. But I think the thing that people appreciate is that with a motorsports mentality, you kind of grow up with a pro risk, right? You pro risk attitude. And so I've been in tech now since I was 19 years old. And so the two go well together in that we're constantly, in motorsports, we're constantly looking for a way to get around the track a tenth of a second faster. We take lots of risk. We put lots of time into just getting a tenth of a second faster. So continuous improvement in the business world is what it is. And so it's been fantastic transitioning from motorsports to sales. And I do love people like Katie and wrote a book and been just kind of been out on my own since the AI era. Went back to school, became a prompt engineer, and I became an AI pioneer. So, it's really fun to be alive right now. It's good to be a Gen Xer. Got a lot of maybe what was once useless information is now being loaded into my AI, and we're building all kinds of really fun things.
I love it. It is a fun time to be alive. AI is so exciting. I'm so glad I started a business when I did because ChatGPT, AI has been out for years, right? But ChatGPT came out and just was like changing the game for me. And I felt so excited and lucky to be here. But I would love to hear everyone in the comments, like, what's your favorite thing to do with ChatGPT? How do you use it? But yeah,
Fun.
before we get into that, let's pull up our next comment. Or not comment, our first topic. Growth versus scaling, key business strategy differences. So this is your topic, Katie. Can you set the stage for us on this and kick us off?
Absolutely. And I'm going to say something to you and your audience that you will recognize. You know how sometimes what you hear out there in the world is that sales and marketing are used interchangeably, like they're the same thing. I find this, I feel that this is the way it is with the concepts of growth and scaling. Whereas if you actually take a look at the words, growth is growth, it's additive, right? Scaling actually has to do with pulling back. So at a very baseline, I work with solopreneurs and micro businesses that they're looking for the churn. They want to earn. They're in revenue generation, like growth mode, like nobody's business. But sometimes they use the word scale and then it starts to get really complicated. So growing is when you are absolutely looking to have your hockey stick go up in terms of revenue generation, not necessarily staff ads yet. This is really a big collect all your cash where you can scenario until you hit the goal, the revenue goal. And that's when you take a deep breath. Maybe it's at a plateau. If you've done it right, you've planned for the place where you're going to be scaling, and you take that scaling knife. You see them on like MasterChef, and you peel the scales of the fish back. What's working? What doesn't work? What would you like to work faster? What do you need to plug in to make that happen? When you're in growth mode, ain't nobody got time for that. When you're scaling, it's wildly important to pay attention to those details. So that's how I would set the stage for the concepts of growth versus scaling.
I love that. What is your take on all of that, Daren, before I respond?
I love the marketing thing because, I get asked that all the time. What's the difference between sales and marketing? And I always say it's the signature. And it's funny to watch the two go at it. But yeah, I agree. And scaling and growth are fascinating to me. A lot of times companies are growing and they want to scale. Like, oh, everything's got to go through the CRM. Oh, everything's got to go here. It's like, oh, listen, guys, we just got to get growing, right? We just got to really, we're gonna try and be a big corporation enterprise, and we're at 10 million. Stop. Let's scale later. Let's just grow now. And so I love that, Katie, and I think that for tech, it's funny because in AI and everything else, everybody wants to scale and they want to automate this and do that and go. And it's like, don't forget about the humans that you really need to grow, because the humans are a big part of that equation. So. That's pretty neat. I like that, Katie.
Thanks, Daren. I love how your brain works in terms of like tech, not necessarily versus people, but tech and people. Bots don't buy. No offense, guys. Like
bots don't buy. I love that.
They just don't.
It could be a bumper sticker.
Well, we have yet to outsource that, and it would be fascinating to see the human that would choose to do so, wouldn't it? Your humans are where your growth is going to be. They're going to be the ones cutting the check, putting the dollars in your bank, and then the tech's going to help you do that faster and in a tighter, more efficient way.
Indeed.
What do you want to say about it, Jesse? I feel like there were words that you had an opinion. You gave Daren the opportunity, and he was like, "Yeah, Katie, I'm all about it." And you're like, "Let me see. What you gotta say? Tell me."
No, I mean, I think it's interesting. I like how you framed it. I don't think as a marketer we really ever think of the difference between growth and scale, but I think it's important to differentiate them, like you said, because really it's two different things, and I think a lot of the time we think of them as one.
And
Indeed.
To Daren's point, you can go on LinkedIn, you can find a senior vice president of marketing and sales job. And when I talk to my friends who are in positions like that, I say, "Oh, that's so nice. Your company got you at a BOGO. You're a buy one, get one." Right? kind of like growth and scaling. They're synchronous, but they're not the same thing.
Mhm. Yeah, and I think when we get into AI and we look at what it can do, I think there is a bit of euphoria when people first unleash that genie, pop the cork, and they feel like they can leap a building in a single bound, and then they over rotate. And I watch them just over rotate. Oh, we're gonna have them call this, and we're gonna have AI do that, and we're gonna have them do this, and then next thing you know, 3 minutes later, your sales are just not so cool. Wait a minute, what happened? And there is that, as a friend of mine says, it's there, and you have to come in here and orchestrate this symphony, right? There's the instruments, which is the AI, and then there's the humans that are playing it that actually make it sing. So it's like, if we don't over rotate, if we can find that Goldilocks spot, and don't forget exactly what both of you ladies said is humans only buy from humans. They just don't really like machines, and it's getting to the point now where we're tired of seeing the have you seen the video where the alligator and the cat's on its head and it looks really real, and everybody's tired of it. So it really starts to become a thing of trust. And so now the more human you can be in these shows like this and be live and not be edited, and if I have a wild hair or I have something in my teeth, that's actually, and the audience, please let me know if I'm on the right track, that seems to be more appreciated, because we're tired of the perfect filtered look. We're tired of it. So,
well, thank God for that. I mean, let's be clear, right? So for those of us that are on the hustle, coming from one place to another place, you have to like post up at, say, a mall. It's a good thing that I don't need to look perfect. I mean, this is the lighting I've got.
This is it. And I think
all I've got is my authenticity, man.
And the elevator going up and down behind you.
I love it. Yeah, I love it. But sometimes when it's close on you, it looks like you're in the elevator moving. I'm like, wow.
That's fun.
I love it. It kind of reminds me of how people would use like video backgrounds, and you'd see the person like walking like over and over like the same way. Because you have it blurred, so it kind of has that like.
Yes, that's awesome. Yeah, I'll take it off blurred, but I'm telling you, and it's so cool because it's a glass elevator. But yeah, I mean, this is what you got to do.
I love it. So is that the mall in DC?
Well, no, it's not the DC mall. That's a whole different kind of thing, which because you've been here before. We're in Northern Virginia, so this is a mall at Tyson's Corner. So if anybody in the audience is also walking around the Tyson's Corner Mall, you will come see me posted up at Ann Taylor where there was just an event.
And she's on Wednesday. So if you want to be on Wednesday, I'm just kidding.
That's hilarious. They can't hear you, girl.
I know, right? Right. So let's switch gears, because the next topic is different. And I don't know a lot about Apex. I mean, I know when I was working in Salesforce a lot, it would be like, oh, we got to call the Apex guy because he's got to do this. Like, that's all I knew, is that like certain things, when we needed the customization, blah, 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 we got to find the Apex guy. So let's talk about Apex8 framework and 8 steps to prototyping success. Could you kick us off, Daren?
Yeah, you bet. So Apex8 is a book. It came out in July. So, and it was written for persuaders. It's written for humans. It really was written for humans, but it is written in the AI era, right? So it's got 40 years of a bit of tactics and sales psychology in it. But the really cool thing about Apex8 is it's for anybody that wants to be a great persuader. And in the AI era, when we talk about why I wrote the book, it's really because now, and it happens every day now, and I'm sure you two see it all the time, is that customers no longer need salespeople for training, enablement, information. They used to, 20, 30 years ago, they would go, I got to go talk to some guy about a jacuzzi. Well, not anymore. I mean, it's really easy to do online, which one's best, what's the sentiment scores, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So what Apex8 is, it's about how to be your authentic self, but how to be truthful and use a sales methodology that lets you build trust extremely fast. And that's done in the first 3 steps of the book. And a lot of people have liked it and they've enjoyed it since July. So it's been a really nice ride for myself and my family as this book is kind of percolating through society.
That's so cool. Well, congratulations on the book. Where can
Yeah.
people go find the book?
You just go to you can go Amazon. You can go right online to Amazon. Just put Apex8 this book or Apex8 Art of Persuasion. But if you can also go Apex8book.com. So Apex8book.com. You can get certified in it. You can, for sales managers, they seem to really like it because it gives them a nice frame of scaffolding and a foundation to work from.
Nice. Love that. So for the marketer like me who was like, man, I just have to call the Apex guy because now it's no longer no code. I can't like do it on my own. Like what would you say would be like the best way if they don't have like a middleman, like a project manager to work between marketing and sales and like your Apex coder? What's the best tip you have to help communicate between those teams when you're on a small team?
Well, I think all salespeople, big, small, little, it doesn't really matter. It's really the first 3 steps. So in the very first chapter, we talk about conscious competence versus unconscious competence. And there are a lot of very unconscious, competent, great salespeople. They're amazing. But if you move one piece of furniture in the living room, they do get lost. And right now in the tech world, lots of salespeople are being laid off. The way that we used to get leads has changed, et cetera, et cetera. So at that time, you go to conscious competence. What were the steps? What was I doing? The book's there to kind of save you with a life preserver in that the first 3 steps, discovery, prototype, and validate, can all be done now in 90 minutes or less because you have AI to help you with discovery and get a bunch of information done. Then you've got prototyping, which you can use vibe coders, you can use Gamma, you can use all these cool sales assistants to really do stuff on the fly. And then you validate it. And when you validate, you're actually genuinely checking in and saying, am I on the right track? Does this look like the type of house you want to buy? Or is this the type of marketing campaign? I've just literally created this marketing campaign right in front of you and I mocked it up. Do you think we're on the right track? Absolutely. I love that. And the key thing is, ladies, that when you get to validate and you ask them and you invite them into your campaign that you designed or something that you kind of practiced a little bit, but then did in front of them as well and did it on the fly with your AI, they're going to go, I like this, I like that, but I want to change that. And now guess what? It's no longer you guys talking. They're engaged. You're interacting. You're ideating. They're trusting you. So in 90 minutes or less with Apex8, you can build trust extremely fast.
Oh, I think I hear the mall music now. Is that?
Yes, there's been mall music this whole time.
It
is
just
not
all
as good.
of a sudden came on.
It's not as good as this conversation.
I'm like, oh man,
I'm
is
much
there
more
clear
engrossed
sound?
in like what Daren's saying. I forgot.
Yes, absolutely. So I like. What did you say the topic was? What did you call it? Conscious. What did you call it?
So there's a learning ladder. I did not write the learning ladder. I cannot take credit for it. It's been around a long time, but it got dropped off for quite some time. But there's a learning ladder. So when you're 26 years old and you're done with your MBA and now you got to go sell, you're unconsciously incompetent, right? You don't even know how much you don't know, right? And then you're consciously incompetent, which means I know I suck. And then you're consciously competent. Like, when you're aware of what you did, and then you start to become unconsciously competent. I mean, you get in the zone. So in motorsports, we talk about being in the zone. So there's many times won a race or I've done extremely well where many laps have gone by and time has stood still. I don't even know what's going on. And if somebody asks me, what did you do? I was like, I don't know. I just wrote, right? Whatever it is. But now in AI, you do have to be consciously competent because you now have to tell your sidekick, your avatar. And I learned this in prompting school. If you can't describe what you want this machine to do, it kind of falls on its face. You've all experienced that. It's like, well, it should have known. No, it don't know nothing. So when you're consciously competent and you're saying, look, I want to know if we do a 3-year and a 1-year cliff and a vesting and a this and a that, you have to be consciously competent of what you're asking. So that all comes together to, are you aware of what it takes to win? Figure that out. And then when it comes showtime, let it happen. Go unconsciously competent and just be natural. Be yourself.
So in my world, and I love that, right? So in my world, you had the ability back in the day before AI and all of that good stuff, as a boots on the ground salesperson, you also had the ability to be able to qualify. So identify that you're on the phone with the right person, present to them the options that they need, because of the 10,000 hours of, this thing that you've done, the support and the answers, you have the solutions to the problems that they have, and you could close a deal over the phone in 60 to 90 minutes.
Right.
I love that. What I love about AI, as a CEO, as a salesperson, I'm supposed to hate AI because it's supposedly going to take my job. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it's going to replace me.
Rumor on the street.
Yeah, I'm going to get replaced. And hey, if it is cheaper than me, so maybe it's a good option for some people. So I'm all right with that as long as people are learning. But I love it because it can do what Daren said, which is show many options, right? So in my expertise, maybe I only have 5 scenarios that I can show you that I've seen before that I know can work. But AI has the ability to take what you're talking about and I'm talking about and come up with things that maybe neither one of us really thought about that could be what you want faster than a human.
Exactly.
Ideation, collaboration, it's fantastic, especially if it's yours. I mean, for those of you out there that haven't gotten AI, and I know that some folks haven't, I just encourage you to get your own account, start developing, I don't know how else to say it, folks, but some sort of cadence or relationship with because it learns from you. It knows what you like. And I'm sure if Katie goes into hers now and says, I'm going into DC and I'm going to go into this building, it already knows who she's meeting with and what she's going to do. And she doesn't have to do a whole lot after a few months, right? It figures her out. She figures it out. So it's something I tell people, get your own account, get over it, just dive in, start playing with it.
Play around, be creative.
Oh
right?
My gosh.
If you're concerned that it's going to steal the secret sauce of you, if that's what you're concerned about, then don't give it the secret sauce right away. Give it stuff give it your to-do list. Have it prioritize your to-do list, right?
Yes. Or like the grocery list.
Right. Have it figure out your calendar. Give it something that you don't like. All of those things that you don't like that fall to the end of the day that never get done, but should probably get done and maybe then take up your weekend. Give those to AI and see how they can create a path for it to go easier for you. Like
exactly.
Yeah. I mean, and as a salesperson, now you remember Katie, like, you and I were both in DC. So I would start prepping for my meetings with these dignitaries or bureaucrats or whoever it was a couple days ahead of time, man. Start calling people. What do I do? Now I can literally 30 minutes before I can just do a quick search in Gemini, which is the nosiest AI out there. But my goodness, talk about
it is Google, Daren.
It is and it's G2, right? It's like incredible data. So now when I walk in, I don't have to waste 5 minutes doing an intro because I just say, "Hey, Katie, I know exactly who you are." And did you happen to check out who I was on AI? Actually, Daren, I did. And yeah, I'm ready to go. So now you can just drop right into your conversations and just get going. Don't waste 5 minutes trying to figure out who each other is. You probably already did a search or an AEO, answer engine optimization session on the person you're meeting with.
So I like that, especially if you're newer in sales. Can I tell you what I like even better?
Please.
So we want to paraphrase what we've learned. So absolutely do what Daren said. Go do your searches. Do them on Gemini. Gemini is great. And it has those little stars and those things make me happy. So go do your searches. But when you meet up with that person, instead of assuming that it's right. I mean, we'd like to think that the information is correct, but instead of assuming that it is, ask if it's true, right? And the reason why you want to do that is, and Daren will tell you this, he will agree with me as soon as this comes out of my face. Assumption kills all deals.
Yes.
Murphy's law of sales states the one place where you assume is exactly the place where the deal falls through.
Oh,
Amen to that. Amen to that.
So go paraphrase and be like, hey, is it true what AI says about you? I read this in the celebrity blog on Google about you. Is that right?
exactly. Yeah. Celebrity Google blog.
For all
Right.
these
Yeah.
directories and
And I think,
SVPs.
and I think when we talk about scaling, right? It was interesting the other day. It was like, I'm doing some work for a couple of companies, and it's like, well, I gave you a list, and I'm like, okay, so this is my cold call list. Okay, how old is it? It's 5 days old. Okay, it's dead. Right? It's dead. Well, why is it dead? Because you have to be in their reality at the time. So if you're going to use AI to build your lists, and you're going to catch intent, you're going to use the crystal ball, everything else, you want to get that thing fresh. And the other thing you always want is one reality point. One reality point. I see these CRM tags out there that'll say, came from this list. Who cares? Came from a click on, the podcast I was watching, and it was on Sunday. Now that I can use because it's now a reality point. So your point, Katie, is like, hey, I understand that you might have seen us during a podcast on Sunday night. What did you think of the show? And now it's not even cold. It's not even a hard thing to do. It's a reality point, but it's still discovery. You still had to find these little pieces, but it's still something that's real to them. And then you can start the conversation. You'll never meet a stranger.
Right. It's the human part is what you're talking about. You want that like little, where are you connecting? Where can you find a commonality? Where it's which is literally the beginning of the relationship. And because for those of us in services-based sales, if you're product-based sales, relationship gets to look a little bit different. Your sales life cycle looks a little bit different. It may be a little bit more transactional than relationship-based. So if you're looking for connection, the human connection that can transcend and use technology to be created. Back in the day, it was, oh my gosh, some stranger is walking the same, no maps, no compasses. They're on the same road as me. Huh, that's interesting. I'll talk to the first human I've run into in 100 years. Like now it can be faster, but we can still use it the same. It doesn't transcend the human connection part. It can just be additive.
Yeah. Yeah. And see, Marissa says, I do AI prompts with research prompts. Then I ask to see if there's any studies that disprove the research is pulling. Yeah. I mean, I always use 2 or 3. I check them against each other. I don't want to assume, but it's okay. Because remember, we were all using search engines and we were putting information into the search.
Yeah.
When is Katie's birthday? Right. But now we can't. Oh, stop. And oh, by the way, your phone's listening to you right now. And it has to you. Oh, and you have talked about IP. So some of the hype masters that have got everybody locked down because they don't want them to use AI instead of their service. There's a thought for you. Just start using it. Please just start using it. Have fun with it and learn how to sell with it because it's a great tool. It's a wonderful tool. Like you said, you can run numbers, you can run projections, all at the table you're sitting at the time. You think of something, the executive walks in the room that you didn't know was going to be in the room, and you got your co-partner with you, and you grab your phone and like, who the hell is that guy? So it's just like, it's a cool tool, man. It's a cool
and think about what Marissa said. So what I love, she's like, my husband uses it for tax research. So way back in the day, in one of my first 2 companies, I'm now on my 3rd, but in one of the first 2, we actually used to we were a staffing company, and we placed people at the IRS specifically for tax code purposes. Imagine editing the versions of the tax code. Marissa's husband will appreciate this, depending on what forms he looks at. V1000, ABCD, and they're edited every time they make a change. So imagine how much more up-to-date information, data you have at your fingertips to be able to provide for your clients on the delivery side, not even on the sales side. It's an amazing tool.
Oh, definitely on the delivery side. I agree 100%. But I do think that, like, man, sometimes it's a lot to look at all that AI content. So as a marketer, just be careful and make sure you're still making it human and training your AI on by showing it the final product. Show it the edited versions so that it knows your style. It knows you're removing the M dash. It knows you're, doing certain things that take out the chat GPT-ness of it. But yeah, you all know what I'm talking
No,
about, right?
it's great. So Jesse, what are you doing? So one of the things that I realized early on is that, we have human influencers. So, in 2020 or whatever, back, when you guys would design these campaigns and I was saying, hey, I need 50 leads a week. You guys used to do things like hire influencers and get persuaders, and you guys would pay them like money. It was like, wow, this is cool. But now you have AI, which is kind of a half a person. It's not a whole person, but answer engine optimization is kind of interesting, right? Because now people are going there to ask a lot more than where should I buy my next car? It's where should I buy my next car? What's the sentiment score? Which one gets the best this? Which one gets the best that? Which one has the best insurance? A lot more, right? And now it's coming back with all of these things. How are you as marketers going to manage around that? What are you going to do? Because now we had these humans we had to influence. Now we got to influence these machines that influence humans and vice versa. So it's like that dynamic has got to be exciting for you. And
exciting. I mean, it's always
fun at the same time and scary at the same time.
But it's
right?
like SEO for AI, is making sure that you're going to be appearing in those searches. Like, yes, Google is still your SEO, but people are searching with AI now. So if someone goes into ChatGPT and says, I'm looking for a LinkedIn Live producer, I'm hoping that Revening might come up. Chances might be slim. There's probably other big ones out there. But, those are the types of things that you want to be, adding to. And the thing is like they're scanning the internet. So just keep putting out content and letting the internet know what it is you do so that AI can understand you. So to me, I think that's one of the biggest things is making sure that you are optimizing not just for Google anymore. You are optimizing for ChatGPT, Perplexity, Claude, all of the AI tools that people are using. But then also just staying on top of it, like using it yourself. Marketing is always changing. So, that's not something new that we're not used to. But yeah, there's just so, now it's like as a marketer, I can go build my own app. ChatGPT, that's cool and all, but let me go try Lovable. Like, you guys want us to, do X, Y, and Z with this blog? Okay, let me go build an app to do that really quick. So I would encourage marketers to not just use ChatGPT, but to use AI to do everything, to have it build your ad audiences, use the data, have it, build you an app, anything you need. I think that's the way to stay on top of it is like use it for as much as you can and test and play.
Yeah, I mean AI affects everything. It affects everything, but it doesn't fix everything. So the good news is that there's always a human at the end to kind of catch it as it falls. But definitely lots of questions. My recommendation again with sales now is that people are really asking a lot of questions. So when a salesperson starts pontificating or mansplaining, as my kids tell me, if you start doing any of that stuff, you're in trouble. But if you say, well, you know how this happens, or why would you think that? The more questions you can ask all the way around, the more, and even on your websites, even on your apps, are you sure you got your taxes done right? So-and-so's husband,
but that's not new, Dan. Like, not to interrupt you, but I'll get all up on my high horse. What you're talking about is a cornerstone of quality sales is asking questions, right? We have 2 ears, 1 mouth for a reason, not just in our daily relationships. There's, tons of jokes about the salespeople that talk ad nauseum. If you actually sit down with a group of quality business development people who've been selling their whole life, the first thing they will tell you is that listening is the key.
Oh, yeah.
who has the answers? It's not AI that has the answers. Your clients have the answers. So I love the concept of all of us being on AI, but I don't really need to be on AI. I need the people
Not
that are my
24/7.
prospects to be on AI,
Humans.
right?
Yeah.
I need,
Yeah,
because
and
it's about
and
them.
and asking those questions on your webpage, having an FAQ is now extremely important because you got another layer in there. So which car should I buy? Then on your webpage, it says, which car should I buy? And it matches, right? So that's the trick. Salespeople actually probably need to listen even more now than they did before because they already have the answers to the things that they probably already asked. If you do your
Oh,
discovery,
see what a
right,
I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this website. Okay, so while I appreciate the sentiment, I would tell you that if you're a good salesperson, you know how to ask which car would you like to buy 5 different ways to make sure that the answer is the same, right? Or to
well,
really dig in and think about your Simon Sinek why.
think about all the things they're going to ask AI. And like you
What about
said,
them?
you like
Great.
you like AI because it comes up with things you didn't think of.
Sure.
So if you use AI to think of the things that they're going to ask you before you go in, then you ask them the questions that steer to where you want it to go.
So this is my
So
point to you, right?
it
So
goes
what we're
back
talking
and
about
forth.
is, so okay, so sales is a funnel, right? Marketing is the funnel that fits on top of that funnel. Yeah. So
I guess.
marketing
I
starts
don't
out with,
know.
yes,
I
marketing
want
starts
them
out with the
to
smallest
target this
questions
way.
and dumps all the people into the top of your sales funnel. The quality of the qualification of those prospects is, we don't know yet. AI is getting better and better at it. So it's getting better and better. That means that I get to just start with different questions when I first engage with a potential client. But I still have to ask the questions because otherwise there's too much of a gap of assumption. Don't forget your people's life change. You were talking about leads and how you want leads immediately. You want clean, quality, new leads. That person's life has changed since they entered that data into a computer. They wanted a car that was brown, but it turns out they looked around their neighborhood and purple was the coolest thing since sliced bread. So they didn't go back in, but the data says that they want brown. So if I go on that data, I'm selling them something they don't want or that they wanted, 2 days ago. So I think
have no way
ultimately
of
we're saying the
knowing
same thing.
I have no way of knowing, but the key thing is today is that the asymmetry of knowledge has shifted, meaning that they know so much more than 3 years ago about that topic. So now you can just cut right through it and you can say, so give me your number one problem statement in the car you're looking for. What's the number one thing you want? I want it to be great.
Who
Because
doesn't
the
love an
rest
educated
all
buyer?
matters. Yeah, but they're
Right?
very educated buyers now because they're shopping with a robot. They're not. I think AI in shopping is now used 64% now. So SEO is yes, SEO is dying. Oh, there I said it. Sorry. ERPs are going away. Monolithic systems are going. I got it out of the way. But autonomy, AI is giving a lot of people autonomy, including buyers. They don't need a lot of people to help them pick that car anymore. But the one major problem, that 5%, that last mile, what's the one thing you really want to have? It's most important. It's most emotional to you. Oh, I really want a computer system that does, that's my number one thing. Great. Do you know through all your research that all of them have just about all of that as well? I do. So what's the one thing that you want to make sure you get? And that's the cool thing is if you ask them, like you said, if you don't assume you know, I want 4 wheels. I want tires. I want a steering wheel. Yeah. No, I want one that has the exhaust I can change the sound of. That's my number one thing. Okay. Now we're going somewhere. Now I got a differentiator. Now I can sell you. Now I can close the deal.
I'm still going to want to know why. So let me give you an example. Further back than back in the day, I used to work inside sales for a
Further
small
back than
company
that. Oh, that's good.
called Club Med. Now,
Oh my goodness.
this is only going to hit so many people who are listening to this, but you can actually look it up. I'm pretty sure it's still a company. It's an international travel company. And they were the very first all-inclusive vacation company.
I
Okay.
remember that.
So everybody back then was very educated on vacations, much less wanting to go on them and take all-inclusive vacations for a family reunion, for example, because all of the event planning and everything is all taken care of. Everybody takes a flight, shows up in the same place. It's wonderful, right?
Get their beads.
Get their beads, yes. So what Daren's talking about is beads were money, right? So you didn't ever have to pay cash for your cocktail. You just pop a bead off your bracelet and be like, there you go. Now, the challenge with that is that the assumption was that they knew what Club Med was, but they didn't know the history of Club Med. And Club Med was built in the 50s after World War II. And the French built Club Med off of the concept that what people wanted to do to vacation was get together outside and go camping. They upgraded their resorts, of course, but they're also European. So they didn't put necessarily a ton of time and effort into building their first resort hotel rooms. They had 2 twin beds. So you're going on your family vacation and you want to hang out with, your partner, your spouse, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, whoever it is, that may be a little difficult. So I still had to get through all of the assumptions and education that my clients had about what an all-inclusive vacation was to break it gently. No, there's no such thing as a queen-size bed at this resort. What do you really, really want out of this vacation? So, and there's always going to be a something. So even when you have an educated buyer, they still only look at the data through their lens and how they see it. It's your job to understand it through the services that you deliver. And there isn't always an exact match just in an initial conversation, regardless of how educated both of you are that came to the table. I can see all of your data in a 2D format. Fantastic. Unfortunately, I'm buying from a not 2D person. So I got to match up those edges. I can do it faster now.
On the edges. Make it a little more human.
Yeah. And that's the secret is back in the day. So in Apex8, we talk about validate. That's where you spot check all your assumptions. It is your catch-all. So if you've made an assumption and you're wrong, and then you do a validate, am I right? Then they correct you. And now you are bonding because they trust you. So
I love
this conversation, and we could keep it going, but it's actually already 10 minutes till, and we have 2 more topics and intermission. I know it's so real quick. We're going to get into that hot third topic, but this has been a really great conversation. So that's why I didn't want to stop it, but we'll be right back right after this brief message.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM on Gulf High Level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
And if you're watching on podcasts, what we're showing on the screen right now is a menu of services they offer, including but not limited to lead generation, CRM management, prospecting assistance, sales presentation preparation, data entry and cleanup, customer support, and project management assistance. So if you are looking to delegate, you have a lot going on, get some help. There's someone out there in the world who has the skills that you are seeking. So just go to cherryassistant.com and get placed with that VA. And in the meantime, let's get into niche market networking, build connections that drive growth. So niche market networking. I was just talking about ranking on Google as a niche market, and I was suggesting using YouTube Shorts because Google owns YouTube. So they like when you
Use
post.
their platforms.
Yeah. And if you have a niche market and your topics are niche, you could rank pretty high because big companies aren't all utilized. Anyway, I digress. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about niche marketing networking.
I'm like, no, I love that. That's amazing.
Me too. But can you tell us about networking though in niche marketing?
Sure. So let's, because I don't know everybody listening, let's be very, very clear. Your niche, your target market, this is your double bullseye on the dartboard. It's the tiniest dot that gives you the most points in business or sales, right? So these are the people you talk to all day, every day, twice on Sunday that really, let's be clear, make your pockets fat. They add to your bank account. So when we're talking about niche market and networking, I love Jesse's idea. I actually am going to, so I happen to know this amazing tax debt reduction specialist. You want to talk about a very, very specific skill set? I'm absolutely going to have her watch this podcast and be like, hey, Jesse gave me the idea, but it sounds like a really good one for you. When you're doing it in person, there's a couple of things that you're looking for. Maybe you're utilizing AI to make sure that you're in the right room. And the room isn't filled with people who are in the same industry as you or anything like that. You want the room to be filled with your target market. If we are in a growth phase, if this strategy just says grow, 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 you don't need to be in any rooms that aren't a perfectly calm, clear blue ocean of cash grab. Honestly. Now you're going to do that through relationship development, but these are the people who, as soon as you stand up and say, this is who I solve problems for, everybody's head's going to swivel your way, right? That's how you know when you get your networking right. That's when your networking will be able to pay dividends for you because you're in all the right rooms of all the people who absolutely adore you. Niche marketing is the way to go versus you go to the Chamber of Commerce, and I love a Chamber of Commerce because, hello, it says commerce, which is where business gets done. So I love a Chamber of Commerce, but not everybody in that room is my target market. I don't work with realtors, right? Maybe I don't work with home services of any kind. The Chamber of Commerce is built up upon all of the commerces in any given space. So maybe it's not the best room for me from a marketing my skill set perspective, right? If I'm looking for clients immediately. If I'm going a layer out, if I'm just looking at the bullseye, not the double bullseye, maybe I go to get referral partners. Although I would still tell you that there's the ability to tighten up on that process too, to make it more efficient for you as a small business. What do you think? How'd I do, Jesse? You agree? Agree?
Absolutely. No, I'm totally with you. And I mean, I guess I would add to it that you really, once you figure out your niche market, which is really hard, I feel like everyone's trying to figure out their niche market.
Girl, that's how I make my living. This is what I help my clients do.
Yes. So like, don't beat yourself up if you're like, you know what? I have customers in all types of industries and blah, blah, blah. Like, we're all figuring it out. We're all trying to find the common denominator, the patterns that they have. And sometimes the pattern is that they have the same pain. They literally, it's not that they're in the same industry or that they have the same job title or that they have the same geography.
They have the same problem.
Yes,
Listen to what she is telling you. She's dropping gold nuggets in your wake. There are plenty of people who can say what I do is industry agnostic. I used to be able to. It didn't matter if I worked with. It just didn't matter. People who needed technical staff need technical staff. So to Jesse's point, it was the problem that was the common denominator that identified my target market. Who has this problem? Now, the challenge with that, if we're giving it context, is that in those spaces, I worked for a company. I got a paycheck to go find those people wherever I was looking for them. I got paid more if I closed deals, but literally I got paid to go find them. How much time do I have as a CEO, Jesse? Like, I got to do all the
0
work,
minutes.
right? So the tighter I can make that, regardless of if it's type of person, think about, okay, great. You service everybody who has one type of problem. What if you served only one type of person who had that problem?
Yeah. Tighten
That
it
kind of,
up.
right? And if you're looking for that
Mhm.
kind of data, I bet your AI can help you, especially if you use something like High Level. Sorry, that's not a plug or anything. I just happen to also use it, so know that that happens to be true. But you have the ability. Your data is your friend. Your sales data has all the answers for you. Your clients and your sales data.
Totally, 100%. Yeah,
Fun.
get your message down. What would you add to this, Daren?
Yeah, I agree with you. I watch people struggle on niche, and most of the clients that I walk into, they feel like they're gonna cut off a lot of business if they go too narrow. But the reality of it is the reason, in my opinion, the reason why you want a niche is so that you can start your orbit. Because if you can fold lots of conversations into your niche, away you go, right? So it's like home services, restoration contractor, trucks, leasing trucks to contractors. It just starts going like this. But it starts as a really small hole. And it's like, well, I don't want to get, I want to be broad. I want to be recession proof, all these things. And
Oh,
I don't
God
want,
bless.
I don't want to box myself in. But here's the thing about a niche. Let's say it's racing and you want to go in the business of aftermarket racing products. You'll actually never run into a stranger in your niche because you know a little bit about motorsports. They know a little bit about motorsports. They have a favorite driver. You actually you're never without a reality point when you're in your niche. You always have a reality point.
I love that. I'm also going to say, so this is where they get you at the drive-through. 10 points to whoever can say where that movie is from in the comments. So here's where they get you at the drive-through. If we can say that marketing costs money, and I'm not talking about hiring a huge team, right? I'm just talking about in any capacity, whether it's time, effort, you've purchased a vendor to do it for you. How much can you afford to market to the whole world versus to this box? I can get more bang for my little buck if I focus and I'm wildly intentional. I understand that it sounds antithetical to Daren's point. You think, Katie, I want the biggest net. I want the biggest ocean trawler to catch all of the fish in the ocean. Well, think about that for a minute. Do you? Because last time I checked, the ocean also has like rubber tires and things that you don't want to eat, things that could kill you, like jellyfish. Does that count? And do you have the time to like pick all of that out of the net? Like, do you have time to literally throw effort back into this big ocean because you caught the wrong thing? Start small, grow from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is a great topic. Again, we could probably talk about it more, but real quick, let's end on RevOps strategy. Align sales, marketing, and revenue growth. Can you kick us off, Daren?
Yeah, RevOps is something that definitely, in my opinion, has been born out of the AI era. We used to have tech, and there was a whole IT department. We went and hung out with those guys, and then we had sales folks, and we just tried to get all these swim lanes to work together. But now, today, RevOps is really the combination of the value. What does the team bring? What's the knowledge? What's the solution, etc. And the technology, getting it to work together. And revenue operations is literally getting the balance right. A lot of us salespeople, we know that the CRM and everything we're going to load in the CRM is really for our bosses. It's not always for us. On the other hand, there's a lot of good things we load in there that are for us. So it's really getting the revenue operations moving smoothly, getting the right pieces of equipment in the right places, taking the ones that aren't, maybe setting that aside, and just getting it all about the signature back, right? Work things from the signature back. And if you do that, you'll have a really nice revenue operations system where you and everybody on your team are just working towards how do we get more signatures in a day? And now back to growth and scaling. But revenue operations to me is that balance, not too much tech, not too much human, just this nice system of revenue operations.
I love that. Like, start from the signature and work your way back. What were you going to say, Katie?
listening to Daren talk, it reminds me of like an Olympic relay. So it's this baton handoff between the tech and the humans, and it needs to be seamless. Because in the moment that the human or the tech drops the baton, the race is over. You got to start again.
Yeah, great point. I like
Brian,
that.
by the way, Brian gets 10 points.
Brian, yes.
Brian got it.
Yeah.
Oh, was that the reference?
Well, now we know that you haven't seen Lethal Weapon.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, that's got to be something from the 90s or I don't know, maybe
Hey,
the 80s.
what are you trying to say?
I don't know.
What are you trying to say?
I don't know. Yeah. What am I trying to say? Lethal Weapon. So when is it from?
From what I heard you say is that you don't watch classic movies.
Well, I grew up in the 90s. And so, I'm 40. I'm not a spring chicken. But I just didn't watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Unless
I mean, that happens. My mom didn't watch movies till her 70s, girl. You're fine.
I mean, yeah, exactly. I have time later on in life to catch up on that stuff. But anyway, yeah, anything more on revenue operations either of you would like to add?
I think that revenue operations is an amazing opportunity for the scaling strategy of any business. Revenue operations is what you should be looking at to improve on or create. Like if you're just growth, you may not have actually thought about what is this department going to look like for you. Scaling is going to say, okay, so we're going to pare back a little bit over here in this staff or these offerings because they don't make us so much money. But the RevOps department for us can look like this, hold these positions, have a human touch, and still be a quick operating, functioning piece of our business, which is, if it's all humans, it doesn't necessarily work as quickly as it can with the beauty of the ads of tech for today. So I think that RevOps is where, if you're looking to scale, you will find the most opportunity for your business.
And in the book, we talk about two things on chapters. In the last two chapters, we talk about debrief and we talk about handoff. One of the things that I have always taught is you should know why you won a deal and you should know why you didn't win a deal. Now, the last one is hard. A lot of people don't like to do it. But when you hand off, if you've got the deal, you're going to hand it off to your service team. When you hand off, you're going to hand it to the folks that are going to make the rest of the magic happen, right? They're going to do the deliverables or the service or the product or whatever it is. But when you lose a deal, it may not always, here's a news flash, everybody, it may not be the salesperson. It might have been that it was too many clicks. It wasn't designed right. It wasn't there. Having a revenue operations system that takes the good and the bad, learns from the mistakes. The greatest teacher is failure. So when you have that system of revenue operations, what happened? How do we make sure that didn't happen again? And what happened? Why was this customer not happy when they were so happy when I left them, right? So revenue operations is continuous improvement, streamlining, Goldilocks stuff. And the cool thing is now I've got this cool machine to help me keep it all straight and help me kind of keep track of the stuff that a lot of people just didn't like to keep track of in the past. So that's just kind of like the cherry on top for revenue operations.
I love that. Well, thank you both so much for sharing that. And if you're looking to, I was going to say scale your business or grow your business and maybe look into your revenue operations. But let's get into real quick one of our last segments of the night, the Guru of the Week. Ooh, drum roll, please. Who is the Guru of the Week?
Well, we got this is somebody that I'm working with currently. I'm invested in this company. So Joe Tolsman, he's the CEO of Rocket Plan. This is a brilliant app. It's a mobile first app for restoration contractors, in North America. And he comes from this world. He built this application and it really helps the restoration contractors do their job so much faster. One of the things that you may not know about that world is the insurance companies. They don't like to always pay. So this app really allows them to curate all the photos, all the sketches, all the crew, all the equipment, and put it into a nice little tidy report for the insurance companies to not be able to deny any of the claims. So Joe built this thing from the ground up, and I'm just I'm pleased to be working with them. And yeah, go by, check out Rocket Plan, check out what he's doing. It's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive.
So what I think is so funny is that somehow, without knowing it at all, Daren chose a guy about tech, and I chose a lady about human stories. So Jen Dalton owns a company called Brand Mirror. So if you think about your brand and what do you look like in the mirror, what are you showing to your customers, this is absolutely everything she's all about. She's been an entrepreneur for over 10 years. She comes out of Georgetown as both an undergrad and MBA. She's a 3-time author now, and spoiler alert, she and I have also co-written a book that'll be coming out later this year together. If what you're looking for is a true depth of understanding about your brand and how to put it forward in the biggest way for your marketing, there's nobody better than Jen Dalton.
Awesome.
And there you have it.
wait.
That's your guru of the week. Woo!
Oh,
What
I
were
can't
you-
wait. Oh, wait, I'm gonna have to. Okay, look, I'm gonna have to take a picture so I can let her know.
Oh, yeah. And we just tagged her in the comments too. So she's on LinkedIn. Hey, Jen Dalton. Congratulations. Thanks for being the guru of the week. And as she's getting that picture, I am going to. Did you get it?
I did.
Awesome. Transition us to the final part is we want to learn more about you. And we just, spent the last hour learning from you, being inspired by you. So now tell us what exactly it is you do, who you serve, how you serve them, and if they could be served by you, how do they reach out to you? And let's just go ahead and start with you, Daren.
Yeah, Daren, the best way to get a hold of me is apex8book.com. But we also have apex8advisory.com. So we're a value creation firm. We work with startups. We work with midstream companies. We come in, we bring in a lot of structure. We bring in a lot of tech. We bring in a lot of humans. And we really show people how to grow and scale, across the U.S. So that's what we do. We really do focus a lot on software companies. I will admit that. But we also work with other industrial companies as well. So they usually tend to go hand in hand. So that's how you get a hold of me. You go swing by apex8book.com.
I love that. Well, thank you both so much for coming on the show. And actually, wait, we can't do that. I haven't even heard. Wait. Sorry.
Katie's gonna come through the camera.
There's
No?
so many things.
Are you kidding? I'm not going to tell you anything. You guys are going to have to come find me.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Let me do a search.
Look, don't tell me what Gemini has to say about me. I don't think I've fixed those search terms.
Let's
So
go Gemini search. Katie,
Right.
we want to know exactly from you first of all, what you do, who you serve, and if we could be served by you, how do we reach out to you?
wonderful. Thank you so much for asking, Jesse. I own a company called Sales UpRising, and I'm a business coach for the smallest businesses that exist. Those of you who are doing the hard thing, you've generated your first 50K and you're looking to get to your first $250,000 so that you know that this dream of a business you have will work. I am absolutely the foundational business coach for you that will teach you the number one thing you need to know, which is how to sell. So that you can get to your numbers. You can reach me on Sales UpRising. All of my services are there. If you want to catch a preview of what I'm all about, you can take a look at my YouTube channel and I'll give you tiny little fun sales tips that'll probably make you giggle to make sales fun.
Absolutely.
Of course, I'm on mute. You're so right. Sales is so important, but it's so hard. So definitely reach out to Katie and get her help. But yeah, until next week, which, by the way, next week we've got another great episode planned. We've got Amy Van Gann and Dan Drucker coming. Do you know Amy?
I do. That's Amy Vaughn. She actually owns Together Digital, and she just opened a co-working space for marketers in Ohio, in Cincinnati. So she's actually a really good friend of mine. So you guys have a great conversation.
Oh my gosh, that's such a small world. Like, never had that happen, that the person actually knew the next person. So amazing. I love that. But yeah, so we've got a great episode carved out next week too. So thank you both for coming on. Until next week, I hope you all have a great week.
Thanks, Chelsea.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Bye, everyone.
Good to see
Thanks,
you guys.
Jesse.
Take care.